It's Locked On Hornets. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Local experts on the #1 daily sports podcast network. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. PrizePicks has the best NBA DFS prop game on the market, so check them out at prizepicks.com. Also check us out, Walker Mail on Twitter, Doug Branson, LOH, Locked On Hornets, also on YouTube. We're at 950, something like that, Doug? 950 subscribers?
Yeah, we're over 950, so we're on the
getting
back
close.
half. And
Why am I disgusted?
Wes Bryan has already left the camera zone. It's a good show and tell. No, it's a great way to start the show. I love it.
I do too, man. Like Wes is a wild card. Wild card Wednesdays is what it should be.
You can only see this on the YouTube channel. We're promoting the YouTube channel.
This has become his move. Like there he goes, just across the screen. I love the chaotic nature of it. Like
it's what makes him a brilliant on-screen talent is his unpredictability.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So it's Wes Wednesdays. There he is, coming into focus. He went to go get something. What was so important that you had
I went to
go?
get the headphones, so then we would not have to worry about the pressure washing. Because I noticed, I said, well, how would the headphones look? But you guys have on, so why don't I join you?
Sure,
the headphones gang.
Headphone gang.
I'm
Hashtag
actually at the station right now, and so look at this play-by-play like classic. I think I put it on backwards so it would be gone. Hold on one second. Booyah! Right here.
It's a great start to the show, by the way.
Look at this thing. If you go to YouTube, you can check it out. It looks like I'm doing the classic Catawba County high school play-by-play regional spot in the playoffs.
Man.
That's what I look like. I'm just going to put this right here. I look ridiculous right now with two mics in my face, the one that Doug gave me and the one that is attached to the headphone. Wes, you look good. We appreciate you hopping on. Follow him on Twitter, @WesGotRange. Follow him on the gram there as well. I think this is the first time you've not worn a Hornets-related thing, though. What do you got on for us today? Just a bright orange hoodie.
Yeah, man, from homage is actually the red of my Niners.
There you go. Okay.
We took the L this weekend. It was painful, but these things happen.
It does happen in sports, and hell, I would love to lose a conference championship game if I'm a Charlotte Hornet. It means we got there for the first time in franchise history, and we'll see what happens with this Hornets team as the years go on, as really what is something that is trying to be built like that kind of roster, and yet it's really hard to win games without Gordon Hayward, Kelly Oubre, and a Jalen McDaniels. And I think that's something James Borrego tried to express earlier this week, Wes, where they lose to the Clippers. It was a bad loss, especially in the fourth quarter. But he was sure to point out, I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to panic when you have three important rotation players out there. Is that how you kind of see it, where, hey, yeah, they lost to the Clippers, but there's a lot of important pieces that didn't go out there on the court?
I think to an extent, yes. The thing that was the most jarring to me about that loss was just that the three-point woes kind of showed back up again. I think it was the fifth time in 6 games they had shot under 35% from three, with a couple of really, really bad shooting nights in there. So I think that I thought they had enough to beat the Clippers. The Clippers are missing, obviously, Kawhi and PG. And so I thought they had enough to beat them. And especially to lose to them the way that they did, I thought was really tough. They shot the ball really bad. The Clippers are pretty good defensively, and JB pointed that out. He talked about the length and the way they play defense and how it bothered them. And they made it tough for the Hornets at the rim, as well as shooting the three as well. But I think, as I said, I thought they had enough, and I just was surprised that the three-point shooting woes continued to show up in this game.
Well, I think that kind of does go to a little bit of Gordon's absence along with Kelly Oubre, who's been lights out from the perimeter too. And so when you have those, and Jalen has been hit or miss, but he can certainly hit them. What about you, Doug? Do you buy into what James Borrego is saying, that you're not really panicking, or there's still some things that you look at that Clippers game and said, hey, okay, like no excuses though. There still should have been a better effort, certainly defensively, and it's going to be tough to score against those really defensive-minded teams.
Yeah, the Hornets don't have a roster such that you can miss, 3 legitimate rotation pieces and expect to easily win. You have to give 100% effort, and you have to have a little luck and a little moxie, and keep cool under pressure. They failed to do some of those things. And, a lot of the three-point shooting woes that Wes mentioned has been a big factor into that. A lot of games left, and the Brooklyn Nets are suffering from a lot of losses right now, and they seem to be falling back to the Charlotte Hornets, who are still in reach of not only the 6th seed, but maybe even the 5th or 4th seed. So there's a lot of time left. So I get the idea that they're not panicking. Let's see what happens. It looks like Kelly Oubre is going to play tonight against the Boston Celtics. So we'll get an idea of if the Hornets can bounce back.
Yeah, I know it's tough to lose 3 rotation players, but after you had that excellent stretch of basketball, you lose to the Magic, and it was a bad loss. But before that, the 2 wins against the Bucks, the win against Philly, the streak-ending win again against the Celtics on the road in Boston. Boom, you blow out the Thunder. Okay, ever since that game against OKC, it's been kind of tough for them shooting, except for the monster explosion they had against Indiana. But tough shooting night against Atlanta. Same thing against Toronto. Indiana happens. But then you don't even play all that well against the Lakers, but they were down their 2 biggest stars too, and then you lose to the Clippers. Like, it's not been a good – I wouldn't call it a good recent stretch of basketball for Charlotte as they're going into this game against Boston. Wes, what do you think? How have they been playing? Is it strictly the shot, or is there some other things that you're paying attention to also?
I think I would just point to the 3-point shooting again because, like I said, this is one of the team's top 3 in the league as far as field goal percentage from 3, and so. But we also know the Hornets get to the paint a lot as well. They're one of the best teams in the league at scoring in the paint. So I think the ebbs and flows of a season when you go 82 games, because if you look at it, outside of the Phoenix Suns, maybe, I don't know really a team that's really suffered through a lot of adversity that has not suffered through some of adversity. So with the Hornets, maybe you just feel like this is just a part of the season. And as you said, the guys that have been missing, especially Oubre, because let's not deny he may not be percentage-wise because I believe it's Cody, but he's the best shooter on this team. When you just talk about volume of shots and consistency and how many he hits. Missing him from the offense definitely takes some explosiveness out of, especially when you talk about the second unit. Coming in there and what he delivers. But Jalen's a guy, he can get hot. He can shoot the ball well, too. The defense you're talking about. So, and then Gordon, he's been there as a guy that we've seen him get hot and get 40, and we've seen him have some big games, but we've seen a lot of games where he's kind of been, an afterthought in the offense as far as how games have flown, whether it's been Terry, Melo, and Miles, and then Gordon comes in with his 15, 16. So I just want to chalk this up at this point to it just being just a bit of adversity teams are going to go through in a long season in this era with COVID protocols, and the Hornets have real injuries, as well. So I think that hopefully tonight they come out and show better. I normally like the way this team responds to a loss. So we'll see tonight. I think tonight will answer some questions. They've got some barometer games coming up this week when you talk about Boston and then Cleveland and Miami. So I think we'll definitely get some answers to our questions this week.
You are listening to the Locked On Hornets podcast.
And Doug, don't you have an Eldon Campbell stuffed animal type thing?
I got it at the last regular season home game that they had before they left for New Orleans.
I love me some Eldon Campbell, but is that the guy?
They were clearing everything out of the house because it was whatever they gave to the fans that night, they didn't have to take with them to New Orleans.
Get more Hornets analysis on LockedOnHornets.com.